I've had a whole variety of smartphones in my adult life, both iPhones and Androids. The Pixel 4 XL to this day is still the most favorite phone I ever had. I wanted the Pixel 4, however when I bought it, it ended up being a Pixel 4 XL even though the listing said Pixel 4. I eventually downgraded all the way to the iPhone 13 mini. Why the downgrade, you may ask? Well, firstly, it's because of a small stance I'm taking against Google, because at the time I had every intention of upgrading to the Pixel 10 Pro, and instead I switched back to Apple. However, instead of getting something brand new, I went for a used iPhone 13 mini. I got really lucky with this phone. I got it for free through the My Verizon app in the exact color and storage option available as certified used. And overall, it was in great condition. Just a few scuffs on the sides, but the screen was in perfect condition, as was the glass back. And on top of all that, the battery life was at like 92% when I first got it. But now it's dropped down to the 80s. The biggest criticism of the mini iPhones by far has to be its battery life. And I can attest that the battery life of this phone is passable. While I still have it above 80% overall battery health, it lasts me throughout the day if I'm not using it heavily, but if I am constantly on the screen throughout the beginning of the day, then by the middle of the day, like I'm talking the afternoon, yeah, I need to be charging it. The iPhone 13 mini is the last smartphone that Apple has made, and it was essentially the same as the standard iPhone 13, except obviously a smaller screen, and therefore also a smaller battery, and a smaller speaker system too. In other words, this was part of the flagship lineup in 2021, unlike the iPhone SE series, which is meant to be less expensive than the entry-level lineup. So if you wanted an iPhone that doesn't compromise on features, then the 13 mini was your last chance to get one in a more comfortable size. And the reason why I sought this phone out is because I absolutely hate how the average phone is significantly larger than what they used to be. I wish that the standard size of a smartphone would go back to the size of this phone, which is now obviously considered small. My lovely, lovely wife, on the other hand, has the current latest and greatest, the iPhone 13 Pro, soon to be made outdated next month with the reveal of the iPhone 18 series lineup, plus the iPhone Fold, which I'll also talk about in a minute. Now, the point of this comparison is only for those of you who are like me that want a decent smartphone that is an iPhone that fits more comfortably in the palm of your hand without really compromising on features. The fact of the matter is that the iPhone 13 mini is unfortunately an old phone. New phones come out every year, and the 13 series is a whole 5 years old now. And I gotta be honest, I am not super tech savvy when it comes to specs, but what I am able to speak to is something that everybody can speak to, which is that because the technology in the iPhone 13 mini is so much older, the phone is much laggier in performance than the 17 Pro. It's definitely, a combination of having less RAM, a much older chipset, a weaker CPU, etc., etc. However, other YouTubers have talked about when it came time to replace the battery. After having done so, the iPhone 13 mini started working snappy again. No more lag between apps. Just zippy, snappy home delivery.
Oh, okay. Sure. Thanks for calling Zippy Snappy Home Delivery.
Go away!
Without comparing the iPhone 13 mini's camera to the 17 Pros yet, the camera by itself in 2026, I would say, still does a pretty good job of taking pictures. But it's also the fact that it's not a pro phone, so you can't use much zoom. And this isn't a problem just for the 13 mini, it's just for any iPhone that isn't a pro. There isn't that third telephoto lens that helps you zoom in more. And then if you stack pictures of the 13 mini next to the 17 Pros, you definitely can notice a difference. You definitely can see how much of an improvement the 17 Pro is 5 years later, plus the fact that it does include a telephoto lens. Apparently the 13 mini has the same camera that the 12 Pro had before it. So in short, the 13 mini has a good camera, it's just that the 17 Pro's camera is definitely better. It's a real damn shame that Apple isn't going to renew the 13 series. I know that the sales of the phone were just so bad that they as a business don't find it worth it to renew. But I feel like they ended the minis run before it even began just by making them so expensive. If they were a little less expensive, then perhaps they would have had a bigger market share. In 2026, the closest thing to an iPhone mini that will be available is the iPhone Fold, which, when closed, will be a little bit shorter than the iPhone 13 mini. But then obviously when you have it open, it's going to be the biggest screen of any iPhone ever. It's also probably going to be the most expensive iPhone ever. So for now, I plan on just keeping this phone because I absolutely love it and adore it. It's a prized possession of mine, especially because it's exactly the color and storage size I wanted, plus I got it for free. So if you've been on the fence about this sort of thing and considered getting a used iPhone 13 mini just to get the feeling of the old iPhone size with the modern iPhone experience, yeah, go for it. You can always just buy a new battery for it, which is still less expensive than buying a brand new phone. And the iPhone Air will not satisfy your desire in this case, because we've had thin iPhones before, and you'll probably put a case on it anyway. So there's no replicating the experience of having a comfortably sized iPhone in your hand, other than just getting an old used iPhone 13 mini now. And these phones are still getting iOS 26 support. It's interesting because my wife and I have iPhones in each other's favorite colors. I got the blue one and she's got the orange one. Go Knicks! So, thanks for watching this video. It's different from most of my other content, so feel free to check out some of my other stuff on this channel. And as always, until next time, holla at your boy.